I'm one of those who will make a lot of PowerPoint notes, so this video is a practical tips video for you. If you're one of those 45% of people who wonder about PowerPoint technical notes and never thought about them, then this video might be beneficial to you to be more intentional about how you use your PowerPoint and how to effectively make your science appear more professional. Welcome back to PhD Coffee Time. This is the online community for you as PhD student to get motivation, peer support, and practical tips during your PhD. Today, I'd like to focus on science communication. We've been experienced PowerPoint presentation viewer for probably the past several years. If you've been attending seminars, you've been attending workshops, we all know how good PowerPoint looks like. But a lot of time when we become the presenter, we suffer from our own internal barrier to be clear when making our slides. So today, I'd like to highlight by example. I've already talked about what are the ways to plan a scientific presentation and what are the logic behind each section of your presentation. You can see this video after this one if you haven't seen it already. But I'm a strong believer that action speaks louder than word. So today, I hope to show you how I would clarify a few slides, and maybe that will inspire you to make similar tricks to instantly enhance your PhD PowerPoint slides. You may be tempted to report a PowerPoint slide like this way with 3 bullet points with some data and citations, but I'd like to encourage you to rethink having this style of slides. But if you are short of time and you have no better way to explain the science, at least make them colorized like this. But really, in a PowerPoint presentation, you shouldn't make your audience read very hard. Instead, my approach would be showing them photographs that is going to communicate the same idea. Like for example, I'm trying to talk about boat and marine facilities that are put in water are destined to be fouled by marine organisms. It is a costly problem. And somewhere like in New Zealand, you have biofouling, which means ecological disaster to the native species. So with these 3 pictures and screen capture from Twitter, I can communicate all of these ideas without having my audience read the smaller font. A few tricks on how to make your PowerPoint slides look instantly more professional. First, you can increase the contrast of the font. A method to make sure every picture are the same dimension. By simply going to format, you will see the height of this picture is 3 inches, the width of this picture is 4 inches. Hold down on Shift and select to make the height 3 inches and hit Enter. What you're doing now here is everyone will have the same dimension, and you can line them up side by side like this. It looks quite unprofessional when everything is not perfectly aligned. One way you can do it is by going to View and show the grid lines. That way you are going to have a better idea, and when you are showing the slides you don't see the grid. The grid is only to assist you for aligning all the components. But there's another trick. You can go by holding on Shift button and selecting all 3 of these pictures. Then you go to Home and Arrange. You can align everyone. And if you want the spacing to be more even, you can go ahead to hit Arrange again and Align button. Distribute horizontally. Now what you see is everyone is exactly aligned on the same axis in the middle, and they're all having equal spacing. That's a quick tip to fix some of the slides that you might have and to make sure they look professional and aligned. Remember in my PowerPoint presentation tips video, I talk about how to use color to help your audience understand you better. So one trick I have is to add a picture border. Hold down on Shift and select all three of these pictures. I'm going to give everyone a picture border, and I'm going to change the color to the same color as the actual organism that I'm using for the boxes. So right now you can see the green color addressing the tube worms right here. You can see oyster, which is in yellow, barnacles, which are in the blue boxes. Sometimes you may want to align multiple objects with the exact spacing and put them in the center, such as these boxes. I want them to keep the same alignment, but I want it to be placed exactly at the center of this slide. So what I could do is I can hold down on Shift again and select all three of these images. And then I can align this to the pictures that I have in the background and align them in the middle axis. Another slide I've made with text box, you can use the same color of font to match the picture border color. The slide should speak for itself so that you don't have to do a lot of explaining. Another trick I have learned is the importance of creating your own illustration. These little guys are barnacle larvae. That was actually my previous research topic. You can see I have used my own diagram. I used Illustrator at that time to create these pictures, and they're scalable vector graphics. A few applications on what else you can use on illustrated diagram. I already spoken about using illustration for writing a proposal and making your figure one of your thesis. So your effort of spending time on illustration is not going to go to waste. And the benefit of using these is when you are reporting your result, you can use the same diagram in the introduction slides. And by following the same diagram to show your data, your audience can immediately understand this is the same type of structure that they were introduced, so they won't be lost. I have used illustration in many of my publications, and I use it for my presentation as well. You can make your slides a lot more coherent. Even I'm citing someone's paper, I can demonstrate why this paper is important according to what I have drawn in the first diagram of the talk. And if you are looking for a motivation to do illustration, here's a fun one. You can actually go to a website such as teespring.com and you can upload your graphic design. You can print it on a poster, a t-shirt, even a mug. Guess what? You might have friends that want to order it as well, and you can entertain all your co-workers. Remember, we had this discussion on whether or not to use white or black background. And it was a general agreement in most of the academics that I have spoken to. They would prefer to use a white and light background to look more professional. However, when you are trying to show this type of microscope fluorescence that have dim color, and you can just make those slides as a black background slide. You can go ahead to set that slide for a black background, and that way your fluorescence is going to show up and you don't have a drowning white background in the room to distract your audience from looking at your result. I wish I thought about that before. There's one side of problem of PowerPoint that some presenters don't bother to use photos and it becomes really hard to engage the audience. Then the other extreme would be you use photo all the time and it's hard to see the text. For example, if you use a color photo as a background, it's very aesthetic, but at the same time, it's hard to find the right font color to make all the words show well. Can work around this is to add a text box, and by making this text box filled up with white or black, so in this case I just chose black and I set the transparency to 40. And now you can see the texts are going to show up. The audience are able to read better and follow what you type on the slides. The other example would be to use transparent white background, and you will have the same effect of having the aesthetic of your pictures in the background. Using a text box with a transparent white or black background usually will solve this problem. There are different types of smart arts that you can use to effectively reduce words that is on your PowerPoint slides. It's called PowerPoint, not Power Paragraphs, for a reason. So if you have to illustrate multiple points, you may have to imagine how these points are related to each other. Are they 3 sets of topics? Then you can have 3 side-by-side panels like this to add to your PowerPoint slides and have a figure in the middle to create a picture of your study, maybe the 3 big objectives. Maybe the 3 items that you want to talk about are sequential, so you might want to use this type of flow diagram that gives you a better explaining that this is a procedure, that you have one item after the other. When I look for these smart arts, I always look for those that allows me to add a picture. I can reduce the words and make it more graphical. I hope to encourage you, before you put out a wall of text on your PowerPoint, look into these smart arts and think about how are the topics that you are going to present related. Are you going to be able to put it in some kind of matrix or pyramid? There might be a better ways to say the same thing without having all these bullet points to shower your audience. On average, people watch my video for 4 minutes, for example, this one image J video. This figure shows that most of the audience click away, decided to come back later to watch the video. Overall, people also get distracted over time. I'm not saying this to be angry about people's behavior, because the fact is you cannot have a room of fully 100% engaged audience. And I want to use this curve to remind you it's a very important job as a presenter to make sure everyone knows where they are listening to your talk. One way I would do it is to make a progress bar and make use of gray font and set the scenes and the expectation. This is a very simple smart art that I have used, and you notice I used the color gray to represent the slides that I haven't gone to yet or I have already spoken about. This is like a signposting to remind your audience where they are and how far is there to go. Another way to engage your audience nowadays, when most of the webinars are online, is polling options. So it's best to get familiarized with this function if it is a very important webinar, such as a PhD defense. In every of my talk, I put my Twitter account on the cover page of my slides. I also found out that recently Twitter allows you to set a poll question. So another creative use that you could think of is to ask a question on your Twitter and invite the audience to engage with you over Twitter. And you are double dipping here because you're not only getting an interaction, you are also exchanging contact right away and get all your audience to be your Twitter connections. I hope all of these examples are helpful tips for you. Do you have a problematic scientific slides that you don't know how to best put it? You can tag me on Instagram or Twitter, and I will try to look at everything, and maybe I'll feature you in the next video on how I may improve your PowerPoint slides. Did you know I read all of my messages and tweets? If you tag me, I will read them. I hope to meet you at the comment sections. And if you like this video and you think these tips are helpful, please make sure to share this video with a friend and make sure to hit the like button so the algorithm is going to know this is a good video for the others. I will see you the next time. Thank you for watching.